Greetings guys and girls, ladies and gents. Different setup, a wide mic, cell phone on the stand, and working on a laptop here. Yeah, back to our Heist script. But before we get into that, I'd just like to say thank you to all of the subs and people subscribing, commenting. Thanks to those active within the community. I really appreciate you guys. So I hope to entertain you as much as I can. Right. The last thing we did in the previous video was talking about setting up something like this where you have a variable tracking which stage has been triggered, etc. But I don't think we'll necessarily get too much into that. The reason being is we're so close to finishing the script that we would just be wasting time. And I think my aim is to get the script done and then look at maybe doing bonus episodes for it, just so that you have a basis and a foundation to work off of and actually build a script of your own. Right, so I've already started the script in the server over here. Clear, there we go. Right, so as we know, we have this red bubble, and if we enter it, we should see a text pop up where you talk to this ped. This ped is supposed to do something for you. That is HUD things. I don't know. Do I have an inventory? Yes, I do. Okay, let's have a look. Driver's license, rental papers, glass, ×2. Right, let's just go ahead and look through our script here. Right. So here's our config for our pedestrian. It's the Life Invader ped model. We've got the vector 4, the label, talk to Ted, the key, and the distance, which is just our radius. Right. Let us look at our main and let's ped. Let's search it up and find ped.position. Pos, not PSO. PSO. Pos. Ped.position. I don't need exact matches. Here we go. Creating a sphere. We have an inside and on enter and an on exit function. And where have we written them? Here at the top. Let's see. Right, minimum police requirements, so let's look at that as well. Police min count, obviously right now it's 0, and we did test that, I believe. Slash job. I am law enforcement and I'm on duty. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to test it out. Let's make it 2, save that out. We will stop the script, start it again. Right, if you walk here, talk to Ted, nothing happens. Why? Why does nothing happen? We get a control just released. It says given true. Let's have a look. So we have the control just released and we hide the text UI. In fact, what should be happening is saying, I'm sorry, I've already handed over my keys, because min police and police on duty should have kicked in, which it has not. Right. Add item if can, door unlock amount. Items, door unlock, glass. Theoretically speaking, we should have 4 pieces of glass, or 3, correct. That's 3 pieces of glass, so that is true. that did in fact happen. Let's stop the script. Right. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the items we have. Let us give a dagger instead of glass. So weapon dagger, save that out, start it again. There we go. Right, let's have a look, see what Ted says. Ted says nothing. However, we did get something, or should have gotten something. We did in fact get a dagger. Right, now I'm starting to think it does not actually check whether or not there are enough police, but if memory serves me correct, then we should have had it work before. Okay, DC is our data center, right? Right, what I'm thinking, data center, where do I have that? Data center, server, shared, DC, main data centers, data center, okay. Police on duty starts at 0. Heist triggered, heist owner. That is a mistake. A good thing that we had a look at it. Okay. Get police on duty framework. What I want to do is the following. Let's just grab one of these debug lines, go to our server main and print out some data. Right. If our framework is QB, then we do some things. Let's do that. Print debug. What do we want to print? Police. Wow. And we want to add count. Okay, count will always be 0. And then police jobs. Config dot police jobs. See, that's why it's not working. Police dot jobs is what we should be searching through. Right, so let us replace it with police dot jobs. Just confirm it. Police dot jobs over here. Replace all. Perfect. Right. Now that that's fixed, we should in fact get the correct things going right now. So it should not have given us something. Obviously I think it did. It did give us another dagger. Okay. Let's think. Right. Actually the server should have given us some information. Right. Exited zone, entered zone given true, control just released. Noise, okay. Right, we had stopping resource, creating script environments, framework set to QBCore, started resource. Okay. I think we should in fact look. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. Aha. Server main Lua line 52. But I think we fixed that. We have not. What does it say? I don't care about TX admin. Let's see what it says. Server main attempt to get length of a null value. Police job. Okay. But did we not get the correct variable now? Or what's the problem? What is the problem? Police dot jobs, right? And that should be a table or a table. Okay. I get you. But what? That's breaking my brain. I'll have to think. Field police jobs. But see, the thing is, I actually do print it. I do print it. I already print it. So this is not necessary because I already printed in a different line. But I don't know where the line is. Maybe in a thread. Yeah, I printed in a thread. ID. Police on duty. Okay. So I fixed it. I have in fact fixed it. Right. Let's see. Okay. I think one step at a time. We did restart it. We'll talk to Ted again. Talked to Ted. Should have a third dagger. That is in fact correct. Next step would be to walk over to this little door, and we should have to initiate come when it's dark. Fantastic. Good test already. So that notification works perfectly fine. Admin options. Where do I get server management? There we go. Server time. 2 in the morning. Perfect. Right. Actually, what times did we elect to go for? Opens at 8 PM, closes at 4:10 in the morning. Fantastic. Perfect time. Heading over to the door. Unlock door. Something should have happened. Okay, CL customize Lua cannot index a function reference. Right. Let's have a look at that. CL customize, which line? 18. 18. That is line 18. If args dot reason is door, okay, but it says cannot index a function reference. Function reference. Let me just check. Are there any server errors? None. In fact, absolutely 0 server errors, which is fantastic. Okay. I think the only issue we are having with Ted at the moment is the fact that he still gives you the key even if not enough police are online. Right? Because we did say minimum count is 2. So if we search that in our client main, okay, that is obviously an issue. Let's have a look. Inside min count. So we've got min police here, and right, police dot min count. If police dot min count is larger than the police on duty, which makes sense, then we won't allow it. Right, let's just test that real quick. Because that should now work. That should be working. Talking to Ted, I don't have the key yet. Perfect. Now that's fixed. Can't believe something so minor can be such a big problem. That's why it's important to remember to keep your variables named the same. Okay, now let us do the following thing. We have to change this back to 0 so that we can continue testing of other things. So let's stop it, start it again. Oh no, very annoying. Unlock, doesn't do anything. Right, because it does say the same thing. Now we'll have to figure that out, because it is definitely an issue. What I'm thinking happens is this export is not doing its thing. I've got no idea. Args.reason equals door, because we give it argument. Let's search for that in client main. Okay, that's safe crack. But I want inside door 1. Right. If it's the correct time, reason is door. Maybe the fact that that is different is the problem. We pass it a reason, a mini game, mini setting, door name, door hash. Then we trigger an event called trigger minigame, args and function success. If success, then we do different things. Heading back over here, we receive the source, the triggerer, the arguments, and obviously there's a callback. This is obviously not necessary, but excuse me. Yes, okay, let's just change steel to this steel with 2 quotation marks. I think we'll have to save it and try it again, because I don't know what to tell you. So that might be the issue, the fact that it does not have the correct quotations. Maybe it needs double quotations and not single quotes. Oh my god. Dude, I'm not used to typing on my laptop. I'll be honest with you. I'll be quite honest. Once that's changed, that door is fixed, that door is fixed, that steel and spots fixed, steel and spots fixed, steel and spots fixed. Fantastic. Save it out, and I think we restart our den heist script. Fantastic. I think what we'll need to do is change the server time again. Right, heading over here, E to unlock another error, func ref. Let's dive a bit deeper. The handler, inside, callback, and the function. I've never had this issue before. I've got no idea what's cracking. Right, apologies for this episode being so whack. I mean, yeah, probably should have tested it before, but that's not the entire point. Like, yes, it is a tutorial type series, but also want to show you how to work through these issues, because I think that's a big part of developing any computer program. Like, you check your error and then you figure out what it means. Like, going through that process, I think it's an important skill. Right, let's have a look. Client main is our next. Client main 141, but that's what triggers it, right? That's where it comes from. 141, this is what triggers it. This triggers this guy, and then on line 18 it gives us an error. But now what it's doing is it's not doing a little export thing, because function reference, indexing a function reference. Okay, best thing to do, debug. Run a debugger. Args, let's call it reason for mini space. We will add args dot reason. Save that out. So we have actually not done this. Local c is equal to config. Okay, let's get that going. My hands feel so awkward on my computer, on my laptop's keyboard. It's whack, it's whack. Right, let's have a look. Pressing E, let's see what it says. It says control just released. But The issue is now on line 19, but and this is where it's important, right? Line 19 occurs after our debug line, which means that our event handler is not even starting, and that's a good thing. Well, it's a bad thing, but it's good that it's not showing us anything, because now we start here at line 141 and we print our args.reason. Then I think I want to add another debug over there, and maybe we'll call it minigame requested, something like that. Right. Let's have a look at that. Pressing E, what happens? Okay, we've got our reason for mini, which is door, but our event has not been triggered in this script either. Right, so we get that print, but this trigger event not happening. What if we change it to trigger client event? Save that out. Add event handler, trigger client event. Maybe that does the trick. I know I've spoken about specific events like that before. I mean, something's happening here. Okay, attempt to call a null value global trigger client event. Okay. Right, now I think all we need to do is to register a client event. Well, technically it is a client event. Okay, let's do placeholder. Register net event, call it something, add event handler, and that should do the trick. Add event handler, trigger event, trigger minigame. You see, that's the thing. Like, there's only one trigger client event. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Maybe I've got something wrong. Maybe I am just dumb. Add event handler. Trigger event. Exactly. Trigger an event. Trigger a server event. Trigger client event. Trigger client event, yeah. And look. Okay, trigger client event is from server to client. My bad. Right. Even so, that still doesn't make sense to me. Func ref callback. Okay. Net lua. Let me libs oxlib imports resource init lua. Was it 138? Init lua 138. Wrong init lua. Init lua 138. 138 callback. Right. Obviously the callback to unpack the table of arguments is the problem. That's the issue. So is there a way to fix that easily? Because we're assembling this table. I mean, what else is getting the issue? Obviously the callback zones client import zones client. I don't know. I don't think that's the issue. Honestly, I don't think that's the issue. Yeah, client Lua 1, what was it, 196? 196. Inside zone. I mean, yeah, I mean, everything else seems to be fine. Inside door 1, self. Got a current door name. And we're checking whether the controller is released. Obviously, everything else seems fine up until triggering the event. And I think the issue is the fact that we're not reading the arguments correctly, because it's struggling to unpack the arguments. So maybe I want to cheat a bit. Maybe I want to do data center stuff. Let's call it center dot minigame. Call it mgargs. Minigame args. Right, is equal to open table. Right. I just think that's the best way to go about it. Yeah, maybe we don't even give it any arguments. I mean, we have to. Maybe we don't. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. mg args, it's not a local, so we'll say dc dot mg args is equal to our data set over here. I'll just copy it in, boom, easy, delete that comma. Maybe that comma is actually the problem, I don't know, let's see. It is not the problem. Okay, right, let's give it a quick bash. We give it no arguments. I can't remember how to mass quote everything. Missing my keybinds. I haven't done anything in such a long time. Okay, I think what we'll do is call it here, and we'll continue here in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting this channel. I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.